Hey guys, this is for task 3. This is your biggest task of the whole assignment, and it's your essay that you're going to write. So this is actually a culmination of where we got up into now. You're going to use your primary data and secondary data to do this, and then when you finish, you'll publish the essay on your website for other people to read. So the first thing you need to do is pick a prompt. Will you pick the future of e-learning? Sort of where will schools go in sort of 10, 20, 50 years? Will they be online? The advantages and disadvantages of e-learning. This would be a good one because you've done your own sort of research, you've done your small surveys. And what are people's thoughts on e-learning? Again, another good one considering you've done primary research into this. The instructions: choose a prompt, plan your essay by creating a central claim, so basically make your thesis statement, and then think, how am I going to prove this thesis statement in 3 supporting claims or 3 body paragraphs. So do it in that order, think logically. Here's my prompt, here's my thesis statement, here's the claim I'm going to prove by writing this essay, and here are the smaller things which build up that claim and prove it's correct. Then you're going to gather evidence from for each from multiple sources, at least 2 sources per essay. You may even use one of your own. You'll write your first draft, submit it on Google Classroom. I'll give you feedback. You get to revise it and improve, and then you submit the final on the website. There you go. So before we begin, let's look at the difference between a primary resource and a secondary resource. Some of you may already know what this is. A primary resource is you. It's your study. It's the information that you have collected. So the perfect example here is the surveys you have done. It can be both quantitative or qualitative. Again, you have these sort of self-reflections, self-observations you've asked participants to do. That's qualitative. And then quantitative, obviously, your multiple choice sort of stuff. It can be either or, but it's your research, it's your survey. Secondary research, secondary data is from someone else. So this can be a website, a newspaper article, a book, something like that, a photo even. And again, it can be quantitative or qualitative. The problems with it, obviously, is sometimes it's not exactly what you're looking for. It might be too old. Remember, though, that it's reliable. You must find reliable sources. Pick websites which are trustworthy, and make sure that they're reliable. So, again, secondary data should support your primary data. If you're using primary data, what you want to do is you want to get stuff that proves that is correct. So, for instance, if you've got primary data which says that, I don't know, students spend too much, like you do a survey and you write, students spend between 5 and 6 hours a day looking at their phone, and you talk about the implications of that. And secondary data might just be another person who's found similar research or has found similar implications that support what you have said and prove what you have said. I'll give you another example in a bit. So primary data obviously being the data you've got, you give this and then you go, oh, here's also some stuff from another person just to show that I'm right. This is some sentence stems to introduce your primary data. I asked, I found, I surveyed. Obviously, not that. No personal pronouns, you know that. Instead, use the passive voice. So we've got a survey conducted at AIS found that. We've got the object and the past participle verb. A survey conducted at AIS found that, or you can have a survey conducted by grade 9 students at AIS asked participants X, Y, and Z. Students and teachers at AIS were surveyed or were asked blah 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 blah. So use these instead of I asked or I found or I surveyed. So you put the object instead of the subject and use the past participle verb. And then you're going to do your plan. So here's an example here. I've got students struggle to connect to the internet. That's my body topic. It's going to be a disadvantage maybe of using e-learning or switching to online learning. So students struggle to connect to the internet. My evidence: 70% had trouble connecting to the internet from my survey. and my analysis. Each student might have to watch several videos per class. If there are 4 children per house, uses a lot of downloads. Coupled this with parents having to download for work. Data is quickly used. Students might not be able to have access. If a student runs out of data or loses access, their learning and grades may be affected through no fault of their own. So that's my evidence and analysis. And then I use secondary resource from Graham A and Solberg P to back that up. So students in Australia with less access to internet were receiving lower grades. So this kind of supports what I'm saying, or what my research found. If education and therefore grades became dependent on Wi-Fi as opposed to intelligence and effort, it is not fair for students to give. It is not fair and gives richer students or students in urban areas with better connectivity an unfair advantage not based on learning. So obviously you can see we've got my topic, which is going to connect to my thesis statement, or the disadvantages perhaps. 70% had internet trouble in my survey. Also, other people found a similar thing. People with low access to internet were also getting lower grades, which I said in my analysis. You could have evidence 3 in analysis, no more than that, please. Do not forget, obviously, thesis statement, how, what, plus the how and the why. Topic sentences, what, plus the how and the why. And closing sentences should summarize and link to the thesis statement, okay? Give your evidence. You may embed or just introduce or paraphrase, because you're not quoting a book. We're not doing an analysis of the words, so you don't need to quote. Introduction, you've got thesis statement first, then go back and do your hook, bridge into that conclusion, restate the thesis, summarize the essay, and then do a takeaway, what you've learned from doing all of this, or what someone else could learn from doing all of this. Right, good luck with that.